Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick, and I'm your instructor. Today, we're talking about repeating mace. Now, a lot of people get repeating mace and reversing mace a little screwed up when they're doing it. They forget which one's which type thing. But reversing mace is against a punch. Repeating mace is against a push. And the difference here is I always used to, before I met Mr. Polanis, do these both out of a fighting stance. All right? Turns out we're not supposed to do it that way. Repeating mace, if I'm standing like this, and some guy's doing, it's against the left crosshand push. So his push is coming in and trying to push right on the patch, or right on my shoulder. All right? You're not supposed to start in a fighting stance, and you're not supposed to move your feet first. What you have to tell you, when you're doing this technique, what you have to tell yourself is don't move your feet. All right? And this takes a little bit of practice on a heavy bag or a partner. So when you're doing this, the push is coming in. Remember, you have to treat every single hand push like a punch. So I don't just want to go, oh, I'll turn and hit the guy because I could get hit in the face. So your left hand's coming up, and it's going to do your outward hooking parry as your right hand turns and hammers them. And if you get the hang of it, you could get a decent amount of power. This just comes over, wham, and hits. So right like that. So as the push comes in, hook that out of the way, hammer fist them. Now I can step back and drop down into my back knuckle. And that's it. This is important. We've said before, like in clutching feathers and lone kimono and techniques like that, you're not allowed to move backwards and hit forwards. You're not allowed to strike when you're going backwards like that. It's junk. That's all it is. You're not going to hurt anybody. So that can't be backup mass. It's not really torque because it could be counter rotation, but it's not. It's going to be marriage of gravity. All right? So as we're standing like this and the guy starts pushing me, here's the outward hook, there's the hammer, drop down. See how that's going outward, downward, diagonal? And you're going to hit, and actually it's written as a back knuckle. I think it's written as a back knuckle. I like doing a hammer fist, okay? But that's what's going to happen. And then you pivot in place and do your right downward roundhouse kick, inward downward diagonal roundhouse kick if we're being specific. So for repeating mace, and it's called repeating because it's hit, hit, where reversing mace is just parry, hit. So that's where the name comes from. So repeating mace, you're doing your outward hook, and see how that's getting my shoulder out of the way too? Hammer fist across the kidney, drop back, technically a back knuckle, and I got my hand still high. And by the way, if you can hit him in the kidney, or the stomach, I'm sorry, if you could hit him in the lower abs right here, I don't have to drag up when I turn. You should just be able to turn in place and do your right inward downward diagonal roundhouse kick to the back of the knee. Okay? So I see a lot of people on both techniques, reversing mace, repeating mace, they drag up a little bit or whatever. If you can hit them with your hand, you should be able to hit them with your foot. There should be no adjustment involved. Also, it depends on your uke or your training partner. So if your training partner is just going, yeah, I pushed you, yeah, I pushed you, well then their leg might not be there. All right? So on reversing mace and repeating mace, you got to make sure that when the person's pushing you, they mean it. So they're coming in, hey, see how far my foot came in this time? So I'm going to do it back a little bit. So if I'm pushing hard, hey, because I want to knock you back into my step through punch range, right? Why are they pushing you? Because they're going to punch you. They're pushing lefty so they can punch you righty, okay? So, but if your uke doesn't step in far enough, or they don't do it like they mean it, then you might not have the range for that right inward downward diagonal roundhouse kick to the back of the knee. But if they do their job right, and you do your job right, all your ranges are perfect, okay? So hopefully that maybe fixed another problem for you with the range on the leg. So go out and practice that one. It's a lot of fun. And practice starting from here and just turning and hitting. It's easier if you slap. Just practice with a heavy bag right in front of you. Bam! Just hit that heavy bag. Bam! Hit that heavy bag. And then when you're actually turning and hitting, it's going to be a good shot. You can get a little bit of power out of that. Nothing super, but you can make it work. You can make it work. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.